This is the Iraqi Dinar Today latest news, and we begin tonight with a truly monumental development that has sent a powerful ripple through global financial markets, commanding the immediate attention of seasoned investors, veteran economists, and every citizen of Iraq. A significant, long-awaited moment has finally arrived, broadcast not through veiled whispers or unofficial leaks, but openly, clearly, and directly on Iraq's national television. This was not a moment of typical economic boilerplate. It was an unambiguous public statement from officials directly tied to the heart of the nation's financial engine, the central bank and the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council. For those who have faithfully followed the intricate story of the Iraqi dinar, this official airing of the nation's financial strategy represents the most decisive, pivotal step yet toward an impending shift in the currency's valuation. The statement itself, delivered live on air, goes far beyond the usual government update. It signals a dramatic and intentional departure from years of cautious public communication regarding the national currency's standing. Senior advisors spoke with a clarity previously unheard of, articulating a strategic move to rebalance the national currency. This terminology, while seemingly simple, carries profound weight in the complex world of international finance. It directly confronts and addresses the long-held notion that the dinar's current exchange rate does not accurately reflect the robust, evolving economic reality of the modern Iraqi state. This public declaration effectively transforms what was once pure speculation into a matter of imminent, governmental focus, forcing the entire financial world to lean in and acknowledge that a historic, monetary transition is potentially underway. The specific national broadcast that ignited this international financial buzz occurred earlier in the week on a prominent state-owned network. The setting was a dedicated segment on Iraq's economic development, where a senior government economic advisor was featured as the key guest. Typically, these discussions remain highly generalized, often circling topics like infrastructure projects, general inflation trends, or the predictable ebb and flow of oil revenue. Yet the conversation took an unprecedented turn when the host posed an unflinching, pointed question, asking precisely when the Iraqi people could expect to genuinely feel an increase in the inherent strength of their own currency. The advisor's response, delivered with noticeable intent, was a deliberate confirmation of the central bank's strategy to realign the dinar's value to match Iraq's true financial foundation. This single, powerful statement has become the catalyst for intense analysis and speculation across the globe, reaching far beyond the immediate Baghdad financial circle. For analysts and global investors, the public word rebalance is not merely an update on policy. It serves as a highly visible, deliberate signal of an impending and significant monetary realignment. When an official of this caliber utilizes such precise language, rebalance the value of the national currency, it unequivocally implies a shared, governmental belief that the dinar's current exchange rate is artificially suppressed, no longer serving as an accurate mirror to the nation's significant economic power. It is a tacit acknowledgement that the rate remains a historical artifact, a remnant of post-conflict reconstruction policies and restrictive international sanctions from a bygone era. However, the economic foundations of Iraq have undergone a massive, fundamental transformation that makes this rebalancing discussion utterly relevant today. The country boasts over $100 billion in foreign currency reserves, consistently records near-peak oil export levels, and is actively and successfully diversifying its economy into high-growth sectors such as advanced technology, major construction projects, and renewable energy initiatives. In essence, the narrative of a fragile post-conflict economy is fundamentally outdated. The nation's current economic foundations are demonstrably solid and rapidly expanding. Thus, the central bank's choice of the word rebalance carries the potent suggestion that the institution is actively preparing to adjust the dinar's valuation upward, raising it to a level that authentically reflects the country's genuine, verifiable financial strength and immense asset base. This televised dialogue is therefore rightly described by many leading economic commentators as a watershed moment. Its significance is amplified by the fact that the message was not circulated through unverified online forums, nor was it anonymously leaked. It was stated clearly and without hesitation on a platform directly controlled by the Iraqi government. In the intricate, often opaque world of sovereign monetary policy, such a public, high-level declaration is a clear indicator of intent. It confirms the well-established principle that public communication serves as the essential prelude to public change in national financial systems. The government is now moving from planning to preparation, bringing the public into the loop. Any major modification to a nation's currency value must be preceded by a vital period of public awareness and confidence building. This initial phase is crucial, designed to ensure that citizens are fully prepared to understand, trust, and ultimately support the forthcoming change in exchange rate. The objective is to proactively build national confidence in the new structure. It is practically impossible, and indeed economically irresponsible, to spring a completely new exchange rate upon an entire population without warning. The change must be introduced in a gradual, well-explained, and clearly justified manner. This televised segment, therefore, appears to represent the definitive commencement of this preparation process, a move to condition and educate Iraqi citizens for what is anticipated to be a new era featuring a substantially stronger and more inherently stable dinar. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, the institution at the very center of this monumental shift, has been diligently laying the necessary foundational groundwork for comprehensive financial reform over a significant period. In recent months, the CBI has systematically implemented a host of structural updates, all meticulously designed to align Iraq's banking and financial systems with stringent international regulatory standards. These pivotal reforms include the rollout of modernized, robust electronic payment infrastructures, the significant expansion of accessible digital banking services nationwide, and the crucial introduction of far greater transparency in all foreign exchange market operations, demonstrating a commitment to global best practices. Furthermore, a key focus of the CBI's modernization effort has been the seamless integration of Iraq's financial system with established global financial networks. Notable among these integrations are the linkage with the SWIFT system and the adoption of the regional Arab payment network, both of which are critical systems that enable significantly smoother, more secure, and faster international financial transactions. These steps are far from being arbitrary administrative decisions. They are essential and deliberate prerequisites for any nation that is seriously preparing to make its national currency fully tradable and internationally recognized. The established sequence for a successful currency transition is always clear. First you modernize, then you stabilize, and only then do you revalue. This sequence is visibly and systematically unfolding in Iraq right now, an often overlooked but highly significant detail that profoundly captured the attention of dedicated financial analysts was the recent introduction of the new 50 dinar banknote earlier this year. While to the casual observer this may appear to be a minor administrative currency update, it is in reality a deeply symbolic and practical indicator. Historically, nations typically choose to release lower denomination banknotes when they genuinely anticipate that their currency is poised to gain substantial strength and corresponding purchasing power. If the dinar's value is in fact adjusted upward, smaller denomination notes will naturally become far more useful and prevalent in everyday transactional commerce. Consequently, specialized economists widely interpret the issuance of the 50 dinar note as a subtle, yet powerful early signal of profound confidence from the central bank itself. It represents a forward-looking step toward establishing a robust domestic and international marketplace, where the currency's real, economic value is finally and universally recognized. This physical currency change is therefore not simply a matter of printing new paper. It is a meticulous, deliberate form of preparation for what is anticipated to be a fundamental and historic rebalancing of Iraq's entire monetary structure. It demonstrates a commitment to practicality in anticipation of a higher exchange rate. In addition to the public television statements, recent reports emanating from Baghdad strongly suggest that the central bank is actively organizing a major press conference in the very near future. The explicit goal of this high-profile event is to comprehensively clarify and detail the CBI's overarching new monetary framework and the full scope of its strategic direction. This imminent event has predictably drawn significant and sustained media attention from financial news outlets and global investor communities. It is widely viewed as the potential setting for the official commencement of Iraq's public transition toward an internationally recognized, revalued currency system, marking the next phase of this long-term strategy. What makes this entire sequence of events particularly noteworthy is the unprecedented synchronization of messaging across all official platforms. For many months, observers have tracked an increasing and deliberate alignment between the public statements issued by senior government officials, the practical ongoing actions undertaken by the central bank, and the often cautious commentary from influential international financial observers. The consistent use of key terminology, specifically stability, modernization, and rebalancing, strongly indicates that this is not a series of spontaneous, uncoordinated events. It is clearly a carefully coordinated strategic rollout, and coordination of this magnitude in the financial world almost always serves as a direct precursor to formal, high-impact policy announcements. Operating behind the scenes, Iraq has also been deeply engaged in proactive diplomacy with major global financial institutions. This includes extensive high-level consultations with international lenders, powerful monetary organizations, and critical regional banking networks. Reports in recent weeks confirm a flurry of productive meetings with key entities such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the World Bank, and various finance ministers from neighboring countries. For the dinar to achieve the global recognition and functionality required for a revaluation, sustained cooperation and explicit support from these entities are absolutely non-negotiable and essential. A currency revaluation is never a solitary, isolated national act. It requires the full synchronization and smooth cooperation across multiple international financial systems. Recent public statements from international financial officials have consistently and openly praised Iraq's significant monetary progress, even going so far as to label it a model for regional stability. This level of high praise endorsement is never granted lightly. It reflects a deep-seated confidence that Iraq is moving deliberately in a direction that is completely consistent with modern, responsible fiscal standards and the highest international financial expectations, lending significant credibility to the entire revaluation effort. Perhaps the most consequential and telling development in Iraq's strategy is the ongoing, systematic effort to settle a growing volume of its crucial oil and international trade contracts using the Iraqi dinar instead of the customary US dollar. This policy shift, though deliberately gradual, is absolutely monumental in its long-term implications. By actively encouraging and enabling other trading nations to accept the dinar for the payment of goods and services, particularly oil, Iraq is functionally strengthening the currency's international legitimacy and simultaneously reducing its historical, heavy dependence on the dollar. When viewed through the broader lens of global economics, this strategic move is a powerful stride toward achieving true financial sovereignty, an ambitious goal that many developing nations aspire to reach. The more the Iraqi dinar circulates and is accepted beyond Iraq's physical borders for international trade, the more inherently stable and robustly self-sustaining its value automatically becomes. Each new high-value trade agreement successfully settled in dinars represents another crucial piece of the foundation being meticulously laid for the substantial revaluation that is now clearly visible on the nation's financial horizon. Industry commentators and highly respected financial voices within the Iraqi community have been consistently echoing these optimistic and strategic sentiments. Several influential analysts have indicated that the central bank has fully completed the internal testing phase of its new, modernized banking systems, and preparations are now actively underway for the final external or international implementation phase. Furthermore, government-controlled television channels have been systematically introducing topics related to national currency strength and financial growth. This carefully orchestrated information campaign is designed to proactively guide public perception and effectively prevent any potential for confusion or panic among the citizenry. In essence, the government appears to be transitioning from the purely technical implementation phase to the crucial communication phase of the project, and in the history of monetary shifts, this is often the moment when the official countdown to change truly begins. The strategic motivation behind Iraq taking this decisive step now is multifaceted, encompassing both tangible economic goals and profound symbolic aspirations. Iraq's current leadership has repeatedly and forcefully emphasized its commitment to restoring national pride, aggressively attracting sustainable foreign investment, and critically, reducing the nation's systemic dependence on external, foreign currencies. A substantially stronger dinar accomplishes all three of these strategic national objectives simultaneously. It dramatically increases domestic purchasing power for all citizens. It sends an undeniable signal of robust stability to global international investors. And it ultimately reinforces Iraq's rightful position as a powerful and emerging economic force in the Middle East region. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani has explicitly and repeatedly stated that Iraq's overarching national goal is to ensure the dinar becomes a clear symbol of strength and sovereignty by the year 2025. When evaluated through the context of this fixed strategic timeline, the current, publicly visible developments fit seamlessly into the nation's broader, articulated strategic plan. For international investors currently holding dinars, these converging developments carry potentially life-changing implications, as even a modest, strategically managed upward adjustment in the currency's official value could translate into significant material returns. Despite the palpable excitement, veteran experts are consistently advising a strategy of caution and informed patience. Currency revaluation is inherently a complex, multi-layered process that involves not only precise economic mechanics, but also high-stakes diplomacy, strict compliance with global standards, and impeccable timing. It is a process that simply cannot and will not happen overnight or without careful preparation. Nonetheless, the undeniable evidence strongly suggests that the comprehensive framework is now nearing full completion. All key institutions are clearly aligned, the official messaging remains perfectly consistent, and the critical phase of public communication has officially commenced. When such essential high-level elements all simultaneously converge, the overall probability of tangible, significant movement on the currency's value increases dramatically and substantially. Observers are now intensely focused on three specific, critical indicators in the coming days and weeks as the situation unfolds. First, the eagerly awaited central bank press conference will be the key event, where officials are expected to finally present a clear, detailed outline of the monetary reform strategy. Second, the financial world is watching for any joint announcements or explicit statements from the IMF and World Bank, which would serve to officially confirm that the international community is fully supportive of Iraq's next strategic steps. Third, and perhaps most technically telling, observers are monitoring the commercial banking sector for concrete signs, such as updated official exchange rate systems or new currency codes appearing in sophisticated digital networks, which are often the true final signals of an imminent transition. When these three critical elements, the official announcement, the international endorsement, and the technical banking update, all visibly align, it almost always signals that a nation's complex currency transition is in fact imminent. Every single piece of the puzzle matters, and when assembled, they collectively create a picture of impending change that is extremely difficult for any serious financial observer to ignore. The television discussion this week has also created significant ripple effects far beyond Iraq's immediate borders. Financial analysts in neighboring countries have been compelled to re-evaluate their own existing economic partnerships with Baghdad. A substantially stronger Iraqi dinar would inevitably and directly shift regional trade balances, and it could significantly increase Iraq's negotiating leverage within the OPEC oil production cartel. Crucially, it could also spur and draw substantially greater foreign direct investment into critical Iraqi infrastructure and the lucrative energy sectors. In this sense, this unfolding story is far more than a purely national event. It is a powerful regional economic development. The revaluation of the dinar, should it be officially implemented as anticipated, has the clear potential to directly influence financial markets across the entire Middle East, potentially creating new regional opportunities and inevitably recalibrating long-standing economic alliances. Public confidence remains the most critical and non-negotiable factor for the enduring success of any currency revaluation. For the change to be sustained, the domestic population must possess a strong, unwavering trust in the institutions that are actively managing the process. This is precisely why communication, transparency, and ongoing public education are positioned at the absolute center of Iraq's current strategic approach. The televised remarks were delivered with a distinctly calm, clear, and deliberate authority. They were intentionally not dramatic or sensational. This measured, authoritative tone was specifically designed to convey reassurance, signaling to every viewer that the change, whenever it formally arrives, will be both measured and ultimately beneficial for the entire nation. The government's clear and consistent strategy appears to be focused on steady, predictable reassurance rather than an economic surprise, a key hallmark of any truly responsible and successful monetary reform. Simultaneously, local Iraqi banks have been rapidly strengthening their digital capabilities, significantly expanding accessible mobile banking services, and enhancing their connectivity with major international transaction platforms. These comprehensive technological upgrades are absolutely crucial for the next phase. Once a new exchange rate is introduced, the entire banking system must be capable of efficiently and securely handling a potential surge of transactions. The central bank's modernization of the underlying financial infrastructure indicates a deep sense of foresight and robust preparation. Every single system upgrade, every new financial protocol, and every comprehensive system test collectively points toward a government that is actively preparing not just for day-to-day operations, but for a fundamental national financial transformation. In international markets, the sustained attention being paid to Iraq's financial story has grown dramatically. Major influential financial news outlets and established currency analysts have now begun to formally include the dinar in their regular regional currency outlooks, development that has not been observed for many years. This renewed, intense visibility fundamentally underscores just how seriously the global financial community is now taking Iraq's undeniable economic resurgence. Just a decade ago, few serious observers would have ever predicted that Iraq could achieve this level of monetary stability and control. Yet today, armed with substantially stronger reserves, demonstrably improved fiscal management, and growing political stability, the nation is actively rewriting its own economic narrative in real time. For the millions of Iraqis who are closely watching these developments, the prevailing sentiment is one of cautious but profound optimism. Many citizens still vividly recall earlier periods of hyperinflation and financial instability, meaning that restoring confidence in the dinar carries immense emotional weight alongside its critical financial importance. The very idea that their national currency could finally reflect the nation's true intrinsic worth is a goal that transcends mere economic policy. It is a powerful point of national pride and a symbol of progress. It represents a definitive new chapter in Iraq's unfolding modern story. This is precisely why the government's official messaging continually emphasizes national unity, economic sovereignty, and the powerful promise of shared prosperity for all citizens. As this critical story continues to develop, experts are strongly urging both local citizens and international investors alike to remain diligently informed by strictly utilizing official, verified channels. The complex process now unfolding in Iraq is intricate, highly deliberate, and requires intense coordination across multiple government ministries, the private banking sector, and various international systems. False rumors or speculative rates that circulate online can cause unnecessary confusion and instability. The most reliable, actionable information will only come directly from the central bank, official government announcements, and verified official statements. When the time for the formal change finally comes, it will be clear, public, and absolutely undeniable. In summary, Iraq's recent national television broadcast stands as a clear and unmistakable milestone event. For the first time in many years, high-level officials directly connected to the country's most powerful economic institutions spoke openly and confidently about the strategic objective of rebalancing the national currency's value. When this public statement is combined with the central bank's systematic modernization efforts, the forging of powerful international partnerships, and the commencement of a clear public communication strategy, the overall message is absolutely unmistakable. Iraq is actively and intentionally preparing for a major monetary shift. Whether this fundamental, highly anticipated shift will formally occur in the coming weeks or perhaps over a longer period of months remains to be seen. But the strategic direction of the nation's financial policy is now definitively set. The dinar's long era of quiet internal rebuilding appears to be drawing to a close, and a highly visible new phase of strength, confidence, and international visibility is beginning. As always, the Iraqi Dinar Today latest news will continue to rigorously monitor every single development, every official announcement, and every tangible sign of progress emanating from the Central Bank of Iraq and the broader global financial community. Stay with us for the verified updates, expert analysis, and clear, impartial insights into what is set to be one of the most significant and profound economic transformations in modern currency history. Thank you for watching.